reporters in REI Live Sarasota. I am so excited to have these three handsome gentlemen with us today talking about foreclosures, because there's definitely going to be a lot of opportunity coming up in the future, 6 months to a year, opportunities for investors to buy foreclosures home, which we haven't necessarily seen that great of opportunity in the last couple of years to months. So I'm excited to have Bill, Marc Pelletz, and Troy Funk with us talking. And with that, Marc, do you want to get us started off?
Sure. Thanks, Catherine, for leading the way. And Troy and Bill, thanks for coming on. You guys have been a big part of my real estate success over the years. And our relationship goes back more than a decade now. And it's more than a decade when the foreclosures were there. And both of you guys had a great impact on my life, but also dealing with a lot of the foreclosures right here locally in Sarasota, Manatee County. So for everybody listening here today, you're going to want to pay attention to these guys, because not only were they in the foreclosure arena in the past, they're also in real estate right now. And I can assure you that both of them will be in the middle of any market correction that's coming out that I expect to see happening after the election. But we're moving in that direction now. And maybe we'll start with Troy here. Maybe you can give us a little bit of insight on what's happening in the regular real estate business right now and what you have begun to get information about on what's coming on down the road, and just some insight into what's happening right now in the real estate industry with foreclosures that are imminent and coming to us. While the real estate market has stayed very hot here in Sarasota, prices have subtly inched down a little bit. Demand is still high, but the things that are going on that we're not hearing about that so much right now are people falling behind on payments, forbearance stuff. And we know there's a little rumbling going on there that foreclosures are about to, when I say about to, that means in the next 12 months, I believe are about to explode in the marketplace again. How do you feel about that, Troy? I can't hear you. Can everybody else, can you hear?
No.
Marc, I could not hear Troy.
I can't hear Troy either.
Troy.
Unmute yourself, Troy. Oh, there you go. You should be able to go now.
No. Let's switch over to Bill and Troy. I'm going to send you a link to log in via phone. Does that sound good?
Okay, we'll take that same question and give it to Bill. And Bill, you and I have a long history together. We've done deals together. You were one of the this is one of the top foreclosure agents in the whole country, never mind the Sarasota area. So he's got a wealth of knowledge here. What can you tell us about what's going on right now, how your success in the past in the foreclosure industry is going to move you into the arena coming forward, and what can we be expecting coming down the road real soon here?
Well, the foreclosures are always around. They're always going to be around. Even during the good times, they're around. I still handle foreclosures right now. I have probably 15 of them in inventory right now that we're liquidating and doing for different banks and assets. My clients in the past were Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, HUD, Bank of America, Chase, all the banks at that point, and things are never going to be this like they are right now. Right now is a great time to buy, but I'm looking at, when you talk about foreclosures coming down the road, people are losing their homes. They're going to lose their homes. What happens is banks will file a lis pendens, which is the very beginning stage of foreclosure process. Those people will probably go out and hire an attorney, try to help them stop the foreclosures for a while. And that'll only be good for maybe at the most a year. So I think within the next year to year and a half, there's going to be an onslaught of foreclosures coming back to the market, which is going to give us a lot of opportunities to purchase more, deal with more, and flip more, things like that for those people that are out there. Obviously, my inventory will increase again at that point. We'll build more relationships with more banks again and start working some more of that again and try to see if we can get back into it again. I mean, over the last 15 years, I think I've sold almost 3,000 homes. Most of them were foreclosures. And so I think the time is coming again that's going to happen. So cash will be king and ready to go. This market right now, anything under 300,000 though, they're selling like crazy still right now. If you're in real estate, people want to sell, there's low inventory right now. But that's going to change soon too. So at that point, I think the market will start going down maybe a little again until foreclosures start kicking in. Hopefully the black stones and the waypoints will get back in and start buying them again and hold the steady at that point as well. Who knows?
That's great information. And Troy, you want to chime in here, or can we hear you? No, we're still working on it. What I want to say is irrelevant to what Bill's talking about. The list pendants are getting filed. For all of you who are listening that are real estate investors and looking to profit in this marketplace right now, homeowners that are going on the list pendants becomes a really great opportunity for you to go work out a win-win situation. Back when the foreclosures were going on, and then thereafter, when people were going into foreclosures, I had people in the streets that were talking to sellers who were in the list pending stage. Remember what we said then there's COVID opportunity here. Crisis always equals opportunities. The opportunity begins when the emotions start running hot. And anytime a homeowner gets their first notices from the bank, and then they get list pendants and they're going down the pipeline leading towards foreclosure, that creates emotions inside of them and opportunities for you investors out there. So you're going to want to follow the trail of people that are falling behind on payments, because people that are behind on payments, they know they're in a situation and they need help. And our job as investors is really to create win-win situations for people. And this gives us a bridge to help them out of the situation they're in. At the same time, the opportunities. I hear echoing now.
That's Troy's.
I think you're gonna have to turn the volume off on your computer.
Yeah, mute your computer one.
Mute.
He's on the phone now. You, Mark.
If you just turn the volume all the way down on the computer, that should work.
Not you, Mark. Mark's muted himself.
Hold on, I gotta see if I can send unmute request. There we go. Troy, I just unmuted your phone as well.
Okay.
You want
Are we still
unmute, volume down? Is that what you want happening here?
No, you're good, Mark. I was talking to Troy.
Now I can't hear you, Catherine.
Okay, can you hear me?
You can hear me now. I apologize to everybody out there. I struggle with the Zoom world and this meeting world, and so I'm really grateful for all of you who get it on with us. Troy, is your thing up and running? Can you speak?
I can speak, but you'll hear me 3 times. I'm sorry. I wish I could just call in. Or can you call me, Catherine?
I don't know if that's gonna work.
I can't hear it.
Just while we're waiting here, just to backpack on what Mark was just saying, list pendants is a great opportunity for many investors. You go out there and you follow those, you start working with those, and you'll find people that are ready to sell. So if you're an investor, you want to find some good deals, that is a good place to go. But keep in mind, a lot of times they're upside down in their homes as well. So you may have to work on the short sales and things like that with them at that point to get those. But every now and then you have people that just, they have good equity in their homes. They just can't afford to keep it going. So that is an opportunity, as Mark was saying.
The other opportunity with people that are going through foreclosures that might not have much equity in their properties is subject to deals and wraparound deals, which we regularly teach at IQ and investor quarters. You're going to want to tune into what we're doing, because there are ways to help a homeowner that doesn't have much equity in their property. And once they start getting the list pendants and know they're falling behind, they know they've got to do something. So these are ripe opportunities for investors to capitalize. I don't really want to use the word capitalize, but to create a situation that will help them out also. Because remember, when we help somebody else get what they want, you're always going to get what you want. But most people don't know some of these strategies to use during trying times. It's not just always a straight, real estate transaction where it's traditional. There are lots of different methods to help homeowners get out of their situation that they're in. And that's what we're talking about right now, is the situations that are coming in the near future. And when preparation meets opportunity, that's when we call luck happens. That's when you get a chance to make some money. So now is the time to actually get prepared for what's coming ahead. Because if you don't get yourself prepared now, you can never time the market exactly right. You've got to be preparing yourself for what's coming down the road.
So I've got a question for you guys. because I have never worked in a super large foreclosure market. Are there any extra expenses or any extra procedures that new investors that haven't dealt with foreclosures should be aware of?
Good question. Good question. What you look at with foreclosures, once they become bank owned at that point, if you're looking after the fact that they become bank owned at that point, every bank has their own addendums that they want you to fill out. But as far as extra expenses, unless you're going to the sites like auction.com and so they are 5% overrides on those, things like that when you go to the auction sites. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of other expenses.
Okay. Are there, sorry, go ahead, Mark.
No, I was going to say to everybody out there listening, you know, when the foreclosures were going on, I made alliances with people like Bill and Troy, who were very instrumental to my success in the real estate world and industry. But one of the reasons that I became successful with them and that we still have this relationship today is because one thing about me that was different than the other people, especially when the foreclosures were going on, was that when I said I was going to do something, I did it. And I didn't really try to do anything behind their backs or, you know, I don't want to say something off base, but if I wasn't sure if I was going to buy the house, I would let them know up front that this may be one that I may have to back away from, and I let them know up front. So what I can tell you is one of the reasons for my success is I was always straightforward, letting the people that I was dealing with, whether it was foreclosures or anything else, know exactly what I was going to do. Would you agree with that, Bill and Troy?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. One thing I highly recommend you guys to do out there is build a relationship with REO agents. Troy and I are just two of the agents in the town here, but build a relationship with them so that when you know what you're looking for, you can let them know, hey, I'm looking for specific properties. Let me know what you got. Let them know, you know, you're going to need to have proof of funds, things like that, that we know that you're a legitimate buyer, things like that. But, you know, build a relationship with the people that you're you know, that are in the business. I know Troy has his name of his company on his shirt there for you. I actually own a couple real estate companies. One's called Hook Ladder Realty. I've been around for a while, but there's several ways that you can get involved in this thing, but just build relationships with some of the people that are out there doing it right now, like Mark did. Mark made a tremendous impact on my life because he came to me and said, hey, I want to buy properties. And when I couldn't find somebody to buy these properties, I go to him and say, hey, make me an offer on something. We'll see if we can get it bought by the bank. And we worked with him because he was reputable. He was honest to the point where he says he's going to do something. He did it. So you build your reputation about your honesty at that point as well with these realtors that are out there that are handling foreclosures.
So it looks like we've got quite a few questions coming in about how to identify the list pendants listings and the bank-owned properties before they go to the like auction.com and those sites.
Well, your list pendants are actually public record. You can go to your county courthouse and the website and look up there the list pendants as they're coming on. Every single day, the new ones come on. Right now, they aren't because there's a moratorium on foreclosures and list pendants at this point. But they're starting them back up after the 1st of July, supposedly, unless they put another moratorium out there. But you can look on the websites there of the county clerk's office to find those.
Okay. So what process, because I know that there's a little bit more of a process when you are dealing with bank-owned properties, can new investors that haven't dealt with these before expect?
So they're looking to what to expect to buy these things?
Yeah, at least I know that the ones that I've looked at, especially if they're on the MLS, it's 60 days before an investor offer, even though it has a hole in the roof. Nobody can live.
Every bank is a little different with what their qualifications are. Some of them will only, like you say, they'll only let you the first 10 days. It has to be owner occupied. But if you look at the MLS at that point, if you have an agent that looks at MLS, the agent listing will say what the qualifications are and how they are at that point. So it's like buying any other. Once it's foreclosed on, the bank's the seller. You can close in 30 days or 45 days, depends on your financing that you're doing it for, or you're paying cash for it. But other than that, the little things, each bank is a little different on those.
Okay. Let's see here. These lists are public records, so they're on the county websites, or are they on a state website?
Each county has their own.
Okay. Jerry, to answer your question, yes, PropStream, you can pull pre-foreclosures inside of it. I don't know about REI Automator. That's just the CRM system. But you can also find these on public records, so you don't necessarily have to go through PropStream. to answer those questions. Does there anybody else have any other questions on here?
I want to say one thing also, especially to new people who have never got into the foreclosure end of the business. Just because it's a foreclosure doesn't necessarily mean it's a good price or a good deal. I hate to say that to you guys, Troy and Bill, but
No.
some people have the misconception that, oh, it's a foreclosure and it's got to be a deal, and that is not the truth. So be sure you're doing your due diligence, not just on what's wrong with the property or why it's in foreclosure or the repairs it needs. Just because a bank thinks they have a value on the property and they put these guys or other agents to list it does not mean that the price is a deal.
Exactly. You got to remember, some of the properties we had multiple offers well over asking price. People were buying them above what it was really worth for the most part because they thought, hey, it's a bank owned. Let's buy it. It's got to be a deal. It's a brief conception about that, though.
And so you guys, as part of the REI, life, we want to make sure that you guys are making money and making deals. So just be careful of that. Don't get caught up with, oh, I got myself a foreclosure. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a good deal.
So, Mark, Bill, Troy, if you have something to say, just raise your hand so that I can turn the volume up so it doesn't echo. What?
Come on, Troy, get in.
Come on, Troy. We got to figure out how to get you on this thing.
He's on my. I can hear you, but hold on, because I've got to figure out how to make it so that it doesn't echo.
Hear me now.
Can y'all hear him?
I turned my thing off, so maybe that works.
No.
I think, Catherine, you need to mute yours, is what it is, when he talks. Try now. No, okay. Well.
Welcome to Zoom, right?
All right. Well, you still look good, Troy. It's nice to see you. It's nice.
He has hair.
I'm running it just like you and keeping up. It's all part of the mindset, right?
Well, we all know about what I think about mindset. 20% of what matters is knowledge and 80% is mindset. So everybody get your mindset right. You know what I always say? It's always the right time to buy real estate if you buy real estate the right way. And so make sure you're always doing your due diligence on values and repairs and everything that it would take to make a foreclosure a deal for you where you can profit. Now remember, when we're dealing with banks, it's not the same as you're dealing with another person. When we're dealing with banks, I don't think we should as much try to create a win-win situation as we're dealing with a seller. If we can get a little advantage on the banks. I'm sorry, Bill and Troy, but help us do that. You know, we want to help the banks get out of their situation, but if we can get a better deal, I don't feel bad when I'm getting a better deal from the bank. I'm sorry.
Hey, I don't mind.
From Leanne, during the last foreclosure crisis in the Florida market, where they're common to have multiple offers, even dozens, on a single foreclosure property.
So she wants to know if there was multiple offers on them?
Yeah, what happened during the last market crash in Florida? I believe Leanne just moved here within the last couple of years.
Well, when the crash happened in 07, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so forth, yeah, I mean, bank-owned properties were the thing. Everybody wanted to buy them, so we had a lot of multiple offers on those. But as Mark says, make sure you do your due diligence. Don't pay more than you should for a property because, you know, it's a preconceived notion and an idea that banks are going to sell low. They're not. You know, as the listing agent, they hire me to do what's called a BPO. So we do broker price opinions on the property. A lot of times they were listing at 15, 20% above that because they knew they could probably get that. But eventually they will sell. So I don't mind waiting for them to come down to the right price. I'd rather you not pay more than you're supposed to and wait for it to come down because the bank, you know, I get the listing. It's going to sell, whatever price it's going to sell. They'll lower the price till they get an offer on it. So don't pay more than you should.
I would say that's really good advice, especially coming out now when this next round of foreclosures comes, as it will eventually. I'm fairly certain that the banks are going to believe their properties are worth more than they are. and don't get caught up in just because it's a foreclosure. Like you said, do your due diligence, make sure it's priced right, make sure you figured out what the repairs are going to be, and make sure there's room for profit in there for you too if you're an investor looking to buy it, fix it, and sell it. Another thing, just because foreclosures are coming doesn't mean that there's not opportunities to buy, fix, and sell. As a matter of fact, I established myself as a player in this market by doing that at the exact time that nobody else was doing it. You know, some people said I had big kahunas at the time, and maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I looked at it as calculated risk, and as truth be told, as hindsight always looks wonderful, looking at it, you know, I was one of the guys who, when the market crashed in 2008, I got my attitude right, which is what I teach, how to get your mindset in the right place. Get your mindset going the right way. Don't get caught up in what the mainstream is saying. There's opportunities out there if you keep your mind in the right place. So when everybody was running, you hear this in all kinds of investment strategies. When everybody's running away from, it's time to run too. When your barber's in the business and your bartender's in the business, that's probably the time to get out. There's going to be a lot of opportunities coming, and everybody's going to be saying, what are you doing? The market's crashing. There's foreclosures. Don't do it now. Don't pay attention to what's being told mainstream. They're the ones that create the hype, and they're the ones that have created right now what's going on with COVID-19, anxiety, fear, depression. That's the real pandemic that's going on right now. And don't get me running on that type of topic. What we're talking about right now is opportunities in real estate for you guys. So when the beginning happens, don't listen to what the naysayers are telling you. Go with your heart and go with your gut. Go ahead. I see Catherine ready.
So we got a question coming in. What advice can you give for somebody that's looking to buy a short sale property now on how to handle that and structure that?
Well, make sure you have have the team behind you that knows how to process short sales. I mean, short sales are a lot of paperwork, a lot of documentation, a lot of hanging on and holding on and working through it. So make sure that you have somebody who's done it before, or you get with a team that's done that. There are opportunities in short sales, but once again, just like foreclosures, just because it's a short sale doesn't make it a deal. Okay, it's the same thing, doesn't make it a deal. Did that answer your question?
Wasn't mine. Yes, it does. What advice can you guys give somebody that is starting to look at these when they're analyzing it? I mean, I learned the hard way at a cattle auction to not get excited and caught up when I was like 5. So my dad learned that one the hard way because of me. So I know that one, but you're analyzing their numbers, stick to them and don't go over them and compromise if it doesn't make sense. But I guess, how do you relay that to somebody that didn't learn that lesson the hard way so that they don't have to?
Don't let your emotions rule your decisions.
Yeah, don't buy a home off you living in there. You don't need it for you. You need it as an investor to fix up and flip at that point. So you make your money when you buy the home, not when you sell it.
Good advice.
Grace, I'm not sure I understand your question about how do I get wholesale deals.
Call Mark.
Buyer's list if you want.
Call Mark.
A wholesale deal is just buying something well below market price that you can buy and sell to somebody else. Okay, does everybody know what well, let me explain this. Wholesaling is the art of finding discounted properties and being able to sell it to somebody else at a higher price. That's what a wholesale deal is, if you don't understand wholesaling. So how do you find wholesale deals is the same question as really asking, how do you find the deal? How do you find the deal? And that's any number of ways that we go over. Foreclosures is one way, driving for dollars is another way, mailing to sellers is another way, working with real estate agents and probate attorneys and lawyers and title companies when deals fall apart. To find a wholesale deal, what you're doing is finding a deeply discounted property that you can sell to somebody else. How do you do that? You identify situations where you can create a win-win opportunity for everybody. Finding people that are going through a divorce, finding people that are, somebody died, finding somebody who needs to move out of town or lost their job. These are situations that create win-win opportunities to find a wholesale deal.
You're muted.
Perfect. Grace said thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there, let's see here. Does Bill know exactly how listing prices are set by the banks for short sales? I think it'd be foreclosures though.
Okay, short sales, yeah. You're going to have a realtor that'll list the property as a short sale. They don't necessarily always know what they're doing, but they try to get it as close to what the market value is, because a bank will want to get as much as they can for it. The longer it's on the MLS, they'll keep reducing the price till they get an offer. Once you get an offer, it's sent to the bank for approval to get the short sale. Now, short sale means that the home is being sold for less than what the mortgage is on the home. So they need to sell for under what the market the mortgage is, but they're going to sell it what the market value is. So the bank will then send out an appraiser to appraise the value of the home. Banks don't want these homes. They want to sell them as short sales because it costs too much money for them to go through the foreclosure process. The average home is about $50,000 for a bank to go through the foreclosure. They don't want to do that. So they'll take a little bit of loss, but they're not going to take a major loss on these things. Does that help a little bit?
And one point you'll also want to keep in mind that will help you in this process of short sales. It would be really helpful for you if you have a contractor that can go out to the house and make an itemized list of all the things that are wrong with it and how much that it would actually cost, so the bank doesn't have to do that, or so they don't miscalculate it. It will also let them know that you're a serious buyer. You've got a team behind you that can help you identify the problems or challenges with the property, and that will help you get a better price on the short sale.
Correct. A good listing agent will already have a lot of that because they want to get these things sold. So they're going to have a whole lot of that stuff, and the BPO that they're going to send to the bank will be as low as they can to get it sold at that point, based upon all the issues that are there as well. So yes, you need to have a contractor to help you with that. Help.
All right, Grace wants your contractor to go out to a property next week.
Or just take Mark with you.
Yeah.
I'm here. Bring some deals. Bring us some deals.
We'll evaluate it for you.
For deals, and we like to partner with people.
I can attest to that.
Are there any other questions?
All right, I want to thank you guys, Bill, Troy, and all you listeners who came in. If there's any other questions, we'll hang around for a few more minutes anyways, but if all the questions are done, Troy, we're going to have to figure out, if Bill and I can figure it out, I think we're both a little older than you. I know I am. I'm not sure about Bill. You guys are young compared to me. And Troy, you're really looking good. That healthy lifestyle, I know where it started, right in my kitchen, buddy, about 6 years ago. Yep, I remember. And it's great to see you healthy. And Bill, we're going to get out on the trail and do some riding. And you guys have really mean a lot to me. And I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come join in on this. And your information, especially yours, Troy, was very helpful.
Yes, thank you, Troy.